I am P. Mahesh Kumar, working as an Associate Professor in Department of Textile Technology, K.S. Rangasamy College of Technology, Tiruchengodu. Welcome to ePathshala. I am going to discuss about textile auxiliaries. First of all, we will have an introduction about textile auxiliaries. Textile auxiliaries are defined as chemicals or formulated chemical compounds which enhances, improves the chemical activity and finishing operation of textile finishes. So this gives additional importance over the surface activity of all the textile finishing process. This also requires for any finishing activity which enhances the performance characteristics of fabrics. Let's move on to learning object. Learning outcome of this module. After learning this module, you will be able to list the auxiliaries used in textile industries, and you can able to describe the functions of auxiliaries. Will know about the basic chemistry of auxiliaries, and you can select the particular auxiliaries for particular end use. Textile auxiliaries can be classified in two types. In one way, that is permanent and temporary. Temporary means it can withstand inside a single process itself. After that process, it will go away from the fabric. Whereas if it is said to be a permanent, it can withstand up to 20 to 25 wash cycles. So it can withstand up to life cycle of your fabric. So it can also be classified in another way, that is surface active compounds, then fabrics inside chemical reactivity compounds, then which enhances the chemical activity. Temporary textile auxiliaries include variety of products such as detergent, wetting agent, sizing agent, desizing agent, leveling agent, carriers, retarding agent, dispersing agent, and solution aids. This second classification gives you idea about surface active compounds, non-surface active compounds, then water insoluble solids, wherein surface active compounds only react with surface area of fabrics, whereas non-surface active compounds will have an activity internal structure of the fabric also, whereas water insoluble solids works in emulsification state, wherein partially liquid and partially solid condition. Bleaching activities and mercerization can be done in a combined process or in a continuous manner. So bleaching is a process wherein it removes or decolorize the natural coloring matter present in the cellulose fiber. Naturally the fiber has a yellowish or cream color, so it may affect the end results of your dyeing activity or white color fabric. Suppose you want a pure white color fabric, you should nullify the natural coloring matter present in the fiber. So bleaching is a process wherein it remove partial color and also it decolorize the coloring matter present in the fiber. So majority of bleaching activity done by hydrogen peroxide bleaching agent, which is known as universal bleaching agent. This is called because it can be applied for all type of fiber, because hypochlorites and other reducing bleaching agent cannot be used for wool fiber. It's make hydrolysis of wool fiber and leads to amino acid formation. So hydrogen peroxide is preferable for all type of fiber. So here, if you use any auxiliaries like wetting agent, demineralizers covers the cationic activities of metal ions, which may hinder the process or reduces the process efficiency. So then mercerization process. Mercerization is a process, it's used for three objects: one, increase of absorbency, dyeability, then strength, then lesser improvement. So after mercerization, your fabric have good lesser property. Whatever the light incident on the fabric gets reflected and gives a glossy effect. That's very shining effect. So in this process, normally carried out in high sodium hydroxide concentration like 52 to 54 degree Twadel, and very low temperature like 20-22 degrees centigrade. So if you choose a wetting agent to work with mercerization activity, you should be in a position to select a wetting agent which can obey this atmosphere. That is, it should work in low temperature and high concentrated alkali. Whereas for scouring of wool, So covering of wool can be done in three ways, that is solvents covering, emulsions covering, then by use of chemicals. So whereas covering of wool, the purpose of doing this is a removal of chewing gum, thereby increasing the absorbency of wool fabric. So for here also, it should withstand the soil effectively and hold the fine dust in suspension and not have any detrimental action on wool. The example for this is alkyl aryl sulfonates, alkyl sulfates, non-ionic detergents can be used in covering of wool. Next, carbonation of wool. So carbonation is a process wherein it removes vegetable impurities from the wool fiber. So it may be accumulated on the wool fiber because wool is getting from sheep wherein it may getting food in the grass areas. So to remove these cellulose based leaves, we should treat with strong acid. So a wetting agent withstand with this acid can be used in carbonization process. So it also increases the surfactant activities. So it should not affect the properties of wool fiber. Bleaching activities and mercerization can be done in a combined process or in a continuous manner. So bleaching is a process wherein it removes or decolorize the natural coloring matter present in the cellulose fiber. Naturally the fiber has a yellowish or cream color, so it may affect the end results of your dyeing activity or white color fabric. Suppose you want a pure white color fabric, you should nullify the natural coloring matter present in the fiber. So bleaching is a process wherein it remove partial color and also it decolorize the coloring matter present in the fiber. So majority of bleaching activity done by hydrogen peroxide bleaching agent, which is known as universal bleaching agent. This is called because it can be applied for all type of fiber, because hypochlorites and other reducing bleaching agent cannot be used for wool fiber. It's make hydrolysis of wool fiber and leads to amino acid formation. So hydrogen peroxide is preferable for all type of fiber. So here if you use any auxiliaries like wetting agent, demineralizer covers the cationic activities of metal ions which may hinder the process or reduces the process efficiency. So then mercerization process. Mercerization is a process, it's used for three objects: one, increase of absorbency, dyeability, then strength, then lesser improvement. So after mercerization, your fabric have good lesser property. Whatever the light incident on the fabric gets reflected and gives a glossy effect. That's very shining effect. So in this process normally carried out in high sodium hydroxide concentration like 52 to 54 degree Twadel and very low temperature like 20-22 degrees centigrade. So if you choose a wetting agent to work with mercerization activity, you should be in a position to select a wetting agent which can obey this atmosphere. That is, it should work in low temperature and high concentrated alkali. Mercerization process. Mercerization is a process, it's used for three objects: one, increase of absorbency, dyeability, then strength, then lesser improvement. So after mercerization, your fabric have good lesser property. Whatever the light incident on the fabric gets reflected and gives a glossy effect. That's very shining effect. So in this process normally carried out in high sodium hydroxide concentration like 52 to 54 degree Twadel and very low temperature like 20-22 degrees centigrade. So if you choose a wetting agent to work with mercerization activity, you should be in a position to select a wetting agent which can obey this atmosphere. That is, it should work in low temperature and high concentrated alkali. So here you can use sulfoxylate compounds and N-octyl beta and beta hydroxyethylene, sulfonium sulfate and sulfoxides. So many of the auxiliaries has a real function with your dyeing activity, because the common dyeing known as for coloration of fabrics, wherein it gives value for the fabric, it fulfills the customer's need, and many dyeing activity requires only for coloring agent. Dyeing is known as coloration of textiles, in which dye powder is commonly called as chromophores and oxochromes. Chromo means color, oxo means color intensifying group. Color, the real color giving group, whereas oxochromes intensify the color. Like suppose you choose a color with green, you may say that dark green, light green and medium green. So this will be changed by oxochrome. Suppose you increases the oxochrome, it intensifies the color. the main ingredient for dyeing is dye molecule. Sometimes you may have a pigment. Pigment is a whole colored molecule wherein it will not have any reactive site. You have to combine a fabric with additional binders. So first we will see the dyeing activities. So dyeing also requires auxiliaries like wetting and penetrating agent, dispersing agent, leveling agent, sequestering agent, anti-foaming agent, accelerator, sometimes deaccelerators, then migration inhibitors, dye fixing agent, after washing agent, and stripping agent. Wetting and penetration makes more hydrophilic nature, therein it absorbs dye molecules easily and makes assisting the penetration of dye molecule inside the fiber molecule and fabric. So dispersion agent always keeps the dye molecule in a dispersion stage, otherwise your dye molecules get accumulated and leads to lump formation. So suppose it makes lumps formation, it cannot be used for dyeing and it leads to uneven dyeing also. So leveling agent, another concept wherein it equalizes the entire surface same level and even dyeing. Sequestering agent consolidate emulsification process, that means any unwanted material present in the dye bath, it sequesters, consolidate and keep away from the fabric. Anti-foaming agent is a very important agent. The name itself gives you the idea about anti-foaming agent. It avoids the foam formation. Suppose any foam formation occurs during dyeing or applying or print paste formulations, then it makes a white space or air bubbles over which you applied any coloring molecule. It leads to uneven design or improper designs. So suppose you use anti-foaming agents, so it removes all the foam formations. Then accelerators, accelerator is a very good auxiliary. It increases the reactivity of main ingredient in dyeing. So it can increase the dyeability of fabric or dyeing rate. You can reduce the dyeing time. So migration inhibitor, as you know, the migration word, the meaning gives for this migration is, suppose a product or material is in a particular place, it should be there in the same place. If it goes away from that particular fabric and settled in somewhere else, it is called migration. Suppose dye is there, it should be here itself. If it is moved somewhere, then it is called migration. Migration inhibitor is used to settle the dye molecule on the fabric particular places. And dye fixing agent, suppose you use a reactive dye. So reactive dye is famously used nowadays for almost 80% of fabric are dyed with reactive dyes because of its fastness. Fastness means very firm, that it is not go easily away from the fabric. Reactive dyed fabric has very good fastness. It can withstand wash fastness, light fastness, perspiration fastness also. Because of these, deforming agents cannot destroy the dye molecule, the bond between dye molecule and fiber. It can withstand throughout the life of the fabric itself. So here soda ash is used as a dye fixing agent. So reactive dye gets a covalent bond at higher alkaline region in the range of 10.5 to 11. To maintain that, we are using soda ash. Then after washing agent is used mainly after removing any unsettled dye or unfixed dye from the fabric. So it's mainly used by means of soap or detergent, which removes unfixed and unsettled dye from the fabric. Thereby it enhances the fastness property of your fabric. Then stripping agent, suppose you made any mistake with dyeing, then you should remove the already fixed dye and you can re-dye with any other class of dye. For that you have to strip the dyes which is already formed. This is called as stripping activity. For this we need stripping agent. Let us start. What are the agents used for individual activities? So for wetting agents, there are surfactants added to the dye bath to ensure the penetration of dye liquor into the yarns and fabric. So this may be of sulfated fatty alcohols, sulfated oil and anionic surfactant like sulfonic acid can be used. For dispersing agent, which keeps dispersion stage, you can use sulfated fatty alcohols, alkyl aryl sulfonates, sulfated fatty acids, amides can be used. Leveling agents, So leveling agent which gives even dye penetration levels, suppose it is not used, then you may end up with your tail end effect. Tail end effect is a defect wherein if you flow the fabric inside the dye bath, the first meter of fabric will get more aggravated dye molecules, whereas end of the fabric, tail of the fabric will get lesser amount of dye molecules. To level this, we are using leveling agent. This can be of anionic surfactant like aryl alkyl sulfonates, fatty alcohol sulfonates, fatty amide sulfonates can be used. In case of dyeing of acrylic, you should use retarding agent because acrylic first it tries to absorb more dye molecules. So suppose first the entire dye is transferred from the dye bath, the remaining fabric may not get a chance to get remaining dyes. So for this retard means to slow down. So these agents can be of non-ionic surfactants used in polyester blends and acrylic fibers also. Sequestering agent which sequester the masking activities of emulsion formation. This normally of EDTA and NTA are common sequestering agents. Anti-foaming agent should have a viscosity of 100 to 500 centipoise at 25 degrees centigrade. Polyamino alkyl substituted hydrocarbons or based organopolysilicoxane are used as an effective anti-foaming agent which prevents the foam formation. Whereas carriers are the earlier dyeing methods. For dyeing polyester fabric, we have three methods: carrier, HTHP, that means high temperature, high pressure, and thermosol dyeing. Carrier or vehicle agent which carries the dye molecule from dye bath to internal structure of polyester fiber. Because polyester is hydrophobic nature, it's merely less than 0.4% of moisture absorbency, moisture regain. So to make it more absorbent condition, we can use carriers. So these carriers are of the type of O-phenylphenol and monochloro-O-phenylphenol, phenylphenol and diphenyl monomethyl naphthalate, trichlorobenzene. Migration inhibitor, it used to avoid the dye transformation from one place to one place. The example for this is sodium alginate, non-ionic polyelectrocrystals, carboxymethyl cellulose known as CMC, ethoxylated and propoxylated gargums are good migration inhibitors. Then dye fixing agents. The example for this dye fixing agent is usually cationic surfactant are used as an dye fixing agent. Then stripping agent. The faulty remover dye can be used by using this stripping agent. Polyvinyl pyrrolidine based agents are used for stripping wet, sulfur and direct dyes. Thickeners. The thickener is used in printing activities wherein it increases the viscosity of print paste, thereby it retains the coloring molecule in a particular design. Printing is known as localized design. It creates special, effective, sharp motifs wherein it should retain the dye molecule in a particular paste. If you give a liquid phase dye stuff, then you may not get an exact sharp design. It will move in a different manner. To avoid this, you can use thickeners which increases the print paste viscosity, thereby you can get a sharp designs. This example for thickener is British gums, dextrin, sodium alginate, sodium carboxymethyl cellulose can also be used as a thickener. Sometimes if you use pigment printing, you should use kerosene, water emulsion and non-ionic surfactants. Then dispersing agent which keeps dispersion of print dyes inside the all printing paste area. It should not accumulate in a particular paste. For this, you can use thiodiethylol, sodium benzyl sulfonate, non-ionic surfactants. Then anti-foaming agent for printing. If you are forming a print paste, you should agitate or mix in a high speed by using stirrer. For this time, you will make a foaming activity. To avoid these foams, you should use anti-foaming agent like glycerin, diethylene glycol, etc. Oxidizing and reducing agent. Oxidizing and reducing agent are sodium chlorate, chromate, dichromate, nitrate, ferrocyanide, hydrosulfide, bisulfite. Suppose you are using wet dyes, it's a 4-step process wherein you should first convert insoluble wet dye into soluble wet leucoform, then dyeing, then oxidation, then after treatment. To make insoluble wet dye into soluble wet dye, you should use powerful reducing agent or any oxidizing agent, preferably reducing agent like hydrose, which commercially known as, and the chemical name for this hydrose is sodium sulfoxylate formaldehyde. So then after dyeing application, you should again oxidize it by means of using any oxidizing agent, majority with hydrogen peroxide. Then binders. Binder is a peculiar characteristic, like it binds pigments on the fabric because pigment doesn't have any reactive group to bind on the fiber surface. So binder forms a film in which the pigments get adherence on the fabric surface. Next, sir. Many of the auxiliaries finally has an peculiar applications with finishing of textiles. So finishing of textiles only because of auxiliaries it gives functional or performance activity. So it can be classified into 9 types: stiffening agent, durable press, optical brightness, softness, water repellent, flame retardant, anti-static, soil release, and anti-pilling agents. So optical brightness and softener has a particular functional properties wherein optical brightness enhances the whiteness or brightness of your fabric, because normally the fabric has reflect the whatever the incident light. Suppose it looks yellowish or bluish color, you can nullify this effect by means of 3 ways: either by bleaching or using bluing agent, or nowadays majority of people are using OBA, normally called as optical brightening agent. The function or chemistry behind this is it absorbs ultraviolet rays which is not visible to the naked eye, and it converts into visible rays. So the rays from 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer is visible to human eye, whereas below 400 and above 700 cannot be visible for our ordinary human eyes. Whereas it absorbs ultraviolet rays and shifted its wavelength to visible rays, that fabric gives glossy effect, shining effect, more brightness. For this you can use optical brightening agent. Softness has a peculiar purpose on the fabric, because naturally the fiber has waxes which leads to smoothness, softness, fullness that will be removed in our earlier covering or bleaching activity. But after finishing, finalizing coloration of fabric, you should give this softener to improve the hand feel of the fabric. This soft feel of the fabric can be imparted by means of any softness. Softener can be classified into 5 types: anionic softener, non-ionic softener, cationic softeners, and reactive softener, emulsion softeners. This based on the reactivity of softeners. Suppose anionic softener, it gives negative ions, whereas non-ionic it will not give any ions. Cationic gives positive ions, because CAT means positive. This positive ions gives more fix on the fabric. Let us summarize this model. Textile auxiliaries are chemicals or chemical formulated compounds wherein it improves or enhances the particular main agent. It increases the final value of your fabric. It imparts special characteristics, special requirement, properties, functions of your fabric like wash and wear, anti-static agents, and flammability, anti-proof agents, and bactericides effects. By choosing particular auxiliaries, you can impart these properties on the fabric, and it also improves the scouring, bleaching, dyeing, and printing activities. Without textile auxiliaries, you cannot imagine any finishing or chemical activity of the fabric.